everyone. Good morning. Mahaba. Hola. Mahaba. Hola. How's everyone doing on this fantastic Friday? I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone is well today. Um, it might be evening when you're watching. I don't know where people are located. And I look like I have a spot on my nose, which I do. I have a little bit of a red spot because, well, I well, uh, I pulled out a little bit of extra, a follicle on my nose. Yes, that's what I did. But we're not going to talk about my nose hairs that pop out, and never mind the ones that are in the nostrils. I'm not going to talk about that. So I guess maybe I should lift my camera, my phone, so that you don't see my nostril hairs. Hold 1 second. Let me raise this. But this morning, I want to talk about a couple of things. One thing in particular, which I'm going to start with, and this is a message to Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo. Andrew, you just showed your butt. You showed your butt yesterday. You showed yourself with that ridiculous comment. Actually, it wasn't yesterday. It was what you said on the radio show when you were on that radio talk show. So yeah, because you are inciting further racial divide against Muslims, all right? And you know, as far as everyone else knows, that the whole attack, September 11th, that was an entire setup. That was an entire setup that occurred. And to use religion against a Muslim mayoral candidate just shows how totally feckless you are. And it also shows how much of a BSer you are, because every time, everything you spoke about equity and racial equity and harmony at all your speeches when you were on your soapbox going to all the churches and everything, because you were doing that on Sundays. I used to get your emails. You're just a con. You're a con artist, like most politicians. You really, really are. And to now to go on into that is just really, really. It just shows who you are. It shows who you are. So you're basically a hypocrite. And women don't come forward, Cuomo, women don't come forward to say that they were SA'd just for the sake of having conversation, okay? So you are full of it. You are full of it. You are not going to be the mayor. You had your time in politics, and now it's time to be a consultant or to be a news host. That's all. Become a news host. Seems to be the trajectory for former politicians. They have the podcasts, and then they go on talk shows, and then they do speaking engagements. So yeah, everything that you've ever spoken about, Cuomo, is all lies. Because like I said, you're going to use religion. You're going to use religion to use any divisive tactics is unacceptable. But that's the nature of politics. So you're not going to win. Cuomo, you're not going to win. So, you obviously know that. And the millionaires and billionaires are trying their hardest to not have Mondami win, because they don't want to have to pay additional taxes. When you become a big Willie and you have all these additional, you have properties and all these assets where you have to pay taxes, because the wealth distribution there is no wealth distribution. There is no wealth distribution. There is going to continue to be poverty, and there's going to continue to be people struggling and, just trying to make it, like we're all crabs in a barrel. And so yeah, you just showed yourself. You showed yourself, and well, you're not going to win. So there you go. I would just start maybe, start advertising for your consulting gig, because it's not going to happen. Yeah, tell your mama. Tell your mama. Okay, tell your mama. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. People are, what people don't know is what they run with, and then they tell stories about, and they tell lies. The same way that people of a certain faith were told not to go to Lower Manhattan for September 11th. Okay, that's a known fact. People were told not to go to Lower Manhattan. Yeah, that's a known fact. That's a known fact. And what happens is when, okay, someone has to always be a victim. So who's going to be the victim? It'll be people that are impoverished, minorities, black and brown, right? Impoverished people. They're always going to be the bad guys. And the good guys are always going to be, those with wealth, caucasity. They're always the good guys. They're always shown as the knights in shining armor, right? They're knights, all right. They're knights riding horses with covering their faces, and yeah. So it's just disgusting what you did, Cuomo. It's really, really bad, and it just shows what a scammer you are. It really, really does. Like every single other politician, because you're gonna sell stories. You're gonna sell stories until the people buy the merchandise, and that purchase of the merchandise is when they vote. So, yeah, that's what you all do. You all do that. But Madami's gonna win, and so, well, that's the way it's gonna go. And for all of you who you want to hate Muslims because of your ignorance and because of what the school system teaches here, okay? Educate yourself and learn. Educate yourself and learn. All right? What happens when what happens when a dog is constantly abused and assaulted by their owner? And constantly beaten. The dog cowers, right? The dog cowers, the dog hides, the dog runs, right? The dog will get away from that owner, but then the dog will fight back. The dog will fight back. So this is how Hamas started. I'm going to go over to Gaza. This is how it started, by constantly being bullied, by constantly being attacked. Okay, and so you want to convolute Islam with jihadists. For people who don't know, the word jihad means to struggle. The word jihad means to struggle. Half of you people, I would say more than 95% of you people would not have any type of integrity as people who are praying, people in Islam. Okay, you have zero integrity, because you'll rob one another, you'll backstab one another, you're giving free passes to what's gone on between the UK and the United States. They've given and Germany all kinds of funds to allow a genocide to go on, to take over land, Doesn't that all ring similar to what happened during Columbus, right? Yeah, politics and religion, you never mix the two. But you know now. Now you know, Cuomo. Now you know. So, bon voyage. Bon voyage. Bon voyage. Bon voyage. This is Voyant. Voyant chai. It's from a cup. It's a mug, obviously. It was from Habitat for Humanity. It was a whole $1. Anyway, early voting has started. People are going to knock it out of the box. And bye, Cuomo. Anyway, everybody have a good day. I still got this nasty cold, chronic bronchitis. Oh well, could be pneumonia. Who knows? I'm at that age. Everybody have a good one. I'll be back, and stay safe out there. Be careful. And do the right thing by people. And open up your eyes and understand and see what's going on. See what's going on around the globe. See what's happening globally, not what just Fox News has to, what the vermin that they spit out, yeah. The yellow submarine, everybody. We are on the yellow submarine. But we're coming up. We're submerging. We're starting. Till next time, everybody. Have a good day. Bye. Stay well.